Welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Quinnell. In the past month, it was confirmed that USA Network will be taking over the SmackDown TV rights from Fox starting next year, which then raised some question marks over the rights for Raw and NXT, considering USA already have the rights to those two shows. And if they were going to retain them, then presumably it would all be negotiated together. And so the speculation has kicked up as to what the future holds for Raw and NXT, as well as it being a negotiation season for AEW as well, with Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision all up for grabs. There's even been speculation as to a streaming deal for AEW, with Max being a potential frontrunner, Max being the streaming service, not MJF. And the two wrestling companies' futures might be more intertwined than you'd think. The USA Network, where WWE programming airs, is owned by NBC Universal, while TNT and TBS, where AEW programming airs, are owned by Warner Bros. Discovery. According to Fightful Select, NBC Universal was very eager to land the rights to SmackDown, but that may not be the end of their bidding just yet. It's reportedly expected that NBCU will be making bids for NBA programming rights, which are currently on TNT and have been a staple of the network for years. And so if that domino falls, the rest begin to as well. Because if NBCU get the rights for NBA, it will potentially affect the budget they have to bid for renewed Raw and NXT rights. And on the opposite side, if TNT don't get the renewed rights for NBA, then it would allow them to have more budget to bid on other projects, for example, wrestling. AEW and WBD were reportedly unable to come to an agreement which would have included AEW TV, pay-per-views, and crucially, the AEW library. This appeared to have been the sticking point, as Tony Khan reportedly feels there is a certain value for the AEW library, which seemingly wasn't met. WBD are reported to be very happy with the AEW partnership and want it to continue. So with a potentially expanded budget, if they do end up losing the rights to the NBA, we could see WBD and TNT come to that agreement with Khan about the AEW library on top of TV and pay-per-views. Plus, there's the floating unknown of Raw and NXT as well, where if certain dominoes fall in a certain way, we could see some crazy shifts in wrestling, with WWE ending up on TNT. That one seems unlikely. Or we could see an outsider move in if TNT and NBCU are tied up with their own projects, like a Disney or an Amazon. It's a haze of unknown fog at the moment, but as is the case with wrestling a lot of the time, anything can happen. Stay tuned to WrestleTalk.com for the latest as this develops. It's Crown Jewel this weekend, and we're doing a watch party for it. This is your last chance to get tickets.
Watch WWE Crown Jewel 2023 alongside Luke Owen, Ollie Davis, Tempest, Dan Layton from WrestleTalk, and over 100 other wrestling fans, along with a live version of our board game series, No Holds Barred. We'll be raising money for charity and doing our live reactions to Crown Jewel from the venue, which means you'll have the chance to be on camera and be part of the WrestleTalk live experience. This is the best way to watch wrestling pay-per-views, and tickets are available now. Get your tickets today, and we will see you there to be part of moments like this.
Jay has the spot, it's gonna be in! 1, 2, 3!
Join Ollie, Tempest, Luke, and Dan Layton for the show. Our No Holds Barred pre-show is now sold out, so make sure you get your tickets for the main show now before they sell out too. Join WrestleTalk and over 100 WrestleTalk fans at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery in Shoreditch this weekend to watch Crown Jewel and be part of our live reaction stream. Now, over to Ollie.
I'm Ollie Davis. Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes. 1998's Deadly Games tournament, Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn's 2 out of 3 Falls match on NXT, Survivor Series 2021's Who Stole Vince McMahon's Golden Egg. I'm a sucker for an episode-long wrestling storyline, and this Dynamite gave us one of the most tried and tested formulas. Our top star babyface has to find some tag partners to fight the bad guys by the time of the main event. After opening on an effective recap package, getting viewers up to speed on the night's stories, MJF spoke with Adam Cole via Thunderdome about his predicament. He needs 3 new friends to take on the 4-person strong Gang Bang Gang, but he's only got 1 friend, and he's on this screen, not here, and very much injured. This continued in multiple segments of Max approaching or ignoring potential partners backstage. Chris Jericho answered for Kenny Omega just by saying, off with his face. Wardlow pinned him against the wall, threatening to take everything from him. MJF couldn't bring himself to knock on Samoa Joe's door, but he did deface Darby Allin's name sign by writing "Emo Bitch." The only people left by the end were Team TNA, making Max realize he'd have to take up the Acclaimed on their offer, which is a stupid tactical decision. Team TNA would have been perfect. Stop sleeping on Jeff Jarrett, Tony Khan. Put him in the main event. This was a great way to have a hook to stay with the show until the end, while also fleshing out AEW's backstage universe as a real tangible place. The opening match, however, was a great international title bout between Orange Cassidy and Claudio Castagnoli, a mixture of championship stakes and blood feud, with Claudio wanting to avenge Bryan Danielson's injury. The character dynamic and action gave me Cassidy versus Pac vibes from Revolution 2020, with Orange doing his comedy rolling out the ring spots and Claudio getting increasingly frustrated. But this is a very different Cassidy from then, and he went into giving maximum effort, firing up with kicks and winning with a pop-up Hurricane Rana pin. Jon Moxley came out after where Cassidy went right for him. He had just wrestled quite a physical match though, so Mox beat the crap out of him. Moxley cut a great promo backstage afterwards, laying out his motivation. He gave Cassidy respect when they fought, but Orange did not give him the same in return, picking up Mox's scraps by beating Phoenix for the belt. That should have been Moxley's match, and he'll get his revenge at Full Gear. Then we got another title match. I think AEW's doing that thing where they have too many titles again. The Hung Bucks defending their ROH Trios Championships against the Embassy. I thought Hangman Page was going to go crazy intense from the start here, given that the Embassy's leader, Swerve Strickland, invaded his home and cut a wrestling promo on his baby last week. But they just started wrestling a standard Trios match, until Strickland appeared on the ramp and Page chased him off. The Bucks were left at a man disadvantage, and the Embassy rather unceremoniously beat them, which Matt Jackson was super annoyed about afterwards, hitting ring posts with a chair. Calm down, mate. It's, oh, you lost your titles. I forgot the titles were there. I forgot they were on the line. We heard live from Adam Copeland in the ring where he debated whether to team with Sting and Darby Allin at Full Gear. This brought out Christian to say some very nasty things. A brawl with all involved, and Copeland finally hitting a cathartic spear on Cage, announcing he will team against him at the pay-per-view. Seeing that they'd put so much time into Copeland not wanting to fight Christian, this all came about rather suddenly. I thought they'd have Copeland reluctantly help Sting out in a sense of duty, but say on one condition: he won't wrestle his best friend. Then you have a far more interesting dynamic heading into that match, and you can hold off on the big Copeland spearing Cage spot that they gave away here. Then it was time for Tony Khan's latest important announcement for wrestling fans worldwide. This week in Kentucky, where it is November 1st, the start of the holiday season. Enter mad awkward joke about Christmas trees at his parents' house being up since July. AEW has had one of its best years ever, with the most tickets sold for a wrestling show. So this week in Kentucky, I am proud to announce not a streaming deal, not a new TV contract, but that tickets will be on sale for everyone for All In next August, next month, on December 1st in Winnipeg. But before then, by like a week, so late November, you can get pre-sale tickets. So sign up now, this week, in Kentucky, to buy tickets in a month for a show 10 months away. Shazam Fury of the Gods. It could have just been a press release. Chris Jericho overcame being hit in the face with his own bat to beat his old JAS cronies 2.0 with Kenny Omega by his side. The Don Callis family challenged them to an 8-man tag in Ontario in 2 weeks' time. That's Canada. So Kenny announced Kota Ibushi for the babyface team, while Jericho said, well, it's Paul White. Meaning we will finally see the Big Show team with Kota Ibushi. Just wish I could go back in time and tell my 2018 New Japan loving self, yes, you will one day see this dream team come true of Kota Ibushi and Big Show. Matt Jackson was annoyed that Jericho had suddenly just started showing up in the Elite's locker room considering their combative past, but he was probably just annoyed his ROH Trios titles mean nothing. Willow Nightingale and Shida put on a really decent match, with not just Willow kicking out of an Avalanche Falcon Arrow at one and hitting a pounce for a great near fall of her own, but also John Cena was there. Sure, it was just a pop-up graphic promoting his Wipeout show on TBS, but still, Shida won in the end. I wouldn't be beating Willow here, as she's got the most breakout potential in the division for me. The post-match saw AEW consolidate 5 different women's segments in one, rushing through Shida chasing off Toni Storm, and Sky Blue not turning on Willow, and instead blue misting Julia Hart. The main event saw the Gang Bang Gang wrestling MJF and the only people he could get to tag with him, The Acclaimed. It was actually a bit of an anticlimax, as the emphasis was more on Max coming out dressed like The Acclaimed rather than The Acclaimed being the partners. It was still a wickedly fun match though, with Daddy Ass giving 0 Fs on his actual birthday, saying actual F words loudly on camera. They effectively teased a 4-way scissoring spot for the whole match, but Jay White hit a Blade Runner for the shockingly clean win, still escaping with the belt. The drama was instead on the post-match, where Max Caster sacrificed himself, taking a title shot bullet instead of MJF. This was where Daddy Ass told MJF to effing scissor him, and we got the payoff from weeks of build. While MJF is a great comedy performer, now's the time to switch into the serious gear of his Jay White feud, like how he's done in the past against Cole and Danielson. It was probably meant to happen with the scrapped anti-Semitism angle, so now we're quite overdue. This week's Dynamite is 78%. Now go watch us count down the 10 best Saudi Arabia matches.
Help me.
Leave this in.
None of this is going in the episode.
Leave this in.
Absolutely not.
Leave it in. Whitney, leave it in. Insubordination.
Welcome back.